When we speak about the morning, we are not simply describing a time of day. We are talking about a divine window, a gift Allah places at the beginning of every 24-hour cycle. And yet, many people live years of their lives without ever tasting the sweetness hidden inside those early hours. Morning Barakah is not found in the clock. It is found in the heart that turns toward Allah before the world awakens. The early morning is not just a period of time. It is a space of divine affection, carved intentionally by Allah for those whom He wishes to bless. When we say the morning is divinely blessed, it means Allah Himself placed something special in those hours, something that cannot be duplicated, replaced, or found later in the day. The Prophet made a powerful dua. O Allah, bless my ummah in their early hours. And this prayer alone reveals a profound secret. The morning carries an invisible spiritual richness that only the morning becomes a spiritual doorway through which peace enters the heart and strength settles in the soul. It realigns your priorities, disciplines your nafs, and brings a gentle harmony to everything that follows. The more you experience this blessing, the more you realize that success does not come from rushing, planning, or striving alone. It comes from beginning your day with the One who created the day itself. Morning Barakah turns ordinary moments into sources of light and transforms daily life into a journey guided by divine favor. Unfolds for the person who rises with purpose, sincerity, and awareness of their Lord. When you wake up early, before the rush of the world begins, you step into a time that Allah has filled with barakah by His wisdom and mercy. This is the hour when the heart is pure, the mind is uncluttered, and the soul is closest to clarity. It is as if Allah gently opens the door of blessings and invites His servant to walk through it. In these quiet moments, your intentions are more sincere, your thoughts are more focused, and your worship becomes more intimate. Even the simplest acts, like sitting in silence, breathing deeply, or whispering a short dua, carry far greater weight because the time itself is honored by Allah. Morning Barakah is not only about spiritual gain, it shapes your entire day. When you begin with worship, or even simple remembrance, you find that your tasks become easier and your decisions more balanced. It is not that the challenges disappear, but that you are given a stronger heart and clearer mind to face them. This clarity is one of the hidden blessings of the morning. What feels overwhelming in the afternoon often feels manageable in the early hours, because Allah placed tranquility in that time. You begin to see life with more wisdom, patience, and gratitude. Another aspect of Morning Barakah is the way it protects your time. Allah multiplies benefit in the hours that follow a blessed morning. You might complete more in one day simply because you began it with Him. Barakah is not measured by quantity, it is measured by impact. You may do less but achieve more, speak less but be understood more, work less but gain more reward. Only Allah can put this unseen power into your hours, and He does so generously when you honor the morning. Rising in the early hours also brings you into harmony with the divine rhythm of life. The angels descend at Fajr, gatherings of dhikr are recorded, and the Qur'an recited at dawn is witnessed. When you wake up during this time, you align yourself with a moment when the heavens are open and the mercy of Allah is near. This connection reshapes your inner state. You begin the day feeling accompanied by Allah's guidance instead of rushing into a world that demands too much and offers too little peace. In truth, the morning is a spiritual gift, a reminder that Allah invites you every new day to start with Him, to seek His blessings, and to walk through the hours ahead with a heart that has tasted barakah. The Qur'an recited in the morning carries a power and sweetness that is unlike any other time of day. When the world is still, when voices are quiet, and when your heart has not yet been touched by the noise and worries of life, the Qur'an descends into the soul with a purity and softness that cannot be replicated later. Allah says in the Qur'an that the recitation of dawn is witnessed, meaning the angels are present, recording and surrounding the believer with mercy. This alone reveals the spiritual depth of the early hours. Your heart, still untouched by the distractions of the day, becomes more receptive, more sensitive, and more capable of absorbing the meaning and guidance found in Allah's words. When you recite the Qur'an in the early morning, you are not merely reading, you are feeding your soul. Just as your body needs nourishment at the start of the day, your heart needs divine nourishment. And nothing nourishes the heart more deeply than the words of Allah. Even a single page, a few verses, or a repeated ayah can transform your mood, your thinking, and your spiritual state. Morning Qur'an has the ability to settle worries, lighten grief, and strengthen faith. It is like a spiritual light that enters your chest and pushes away the darkness that accumulated from yesterday's mistakes or challenges. The Qur'an in the morning also sets the tone for your entire day. When you start your day with Allah's words, your thoughts naturally become more disciplined, your emotions steadier, and your choices more guided. You are less reactive and more reflective. You respond with patience, not impulse. You see things from a higher perspective because you have connected your heart to revelation before connecting to the world. This is one of the greatest gifts of morning recitation. It reshapes your inner landscape so you can move through the day with tranquility and purpose. Additionally, reading Qur'an in the morning creates a unique emotional bond between you and Allah. You begin to associate those early hours with serenity, guidance, and intimacy. You experience firsthand that the Qur'an is not simply a book to read, but a companion that comforts you, advises you, and lifts you. Over time, you begin to crave that early peaceful moment with the Book of Allah because you notice the difference in your spiritual and emotional state on the days you skip it. Another subtle but powerful blessing of morning Qur'an is the barakah it brings to everything else you do. Your work becomes more productive, your mind more clear, and even your interactions with people become more gentle. The Qur'an aligns your priorities and purifies your intentions, so the blessings of that morning recitation ripple throughout your entire day. In truth, reciting the Qur'an in the early morning is like planting seeds of divine light in your heart. Those seeds grow throughout the day, shaping your actions, polishing your character, and protecting your inner peace. It is a daily reminder that guidance begins not with effort, but with connection to the One who guides all hearts. Morning dhikr holds a unique power because it enters the heart at a time when the world is quiet and the soul is uncluttered. In those early hours, before responsibilities and emotions begin to pull you in different directions, dhikr becomes more than words. It becomes a lifeline. When you sit after Fajr or wake a little earlier and whisper, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, or La ilaha illallah, your heart begins to settle into a state of calm that lasts far beyond the morning. This tranquility is not created by the circumstances of life, but by remembering the One who controls all circumstances. Dhikr reconnects you to Allah before you reconnect to the world, and that order creates a remarkable shift in your inner landscape. When you remember Allah early in the day, your heart receives protection. Dhikr is like a shield that guards you from negative thoughts, impatience, and the emotional turbulence that can easily shake a person throughout the day. Many people rush into their tasks without grounding themselves spiritually, and they find themselves overwhelmed, stressed, or reactive. But the one who begins with remembrance carries a kind of spiritual armor. Words of dhikr purify the heart and keep it steady, reminding you that you are never facing life alone. You move with a sense of divine companionship, and that alone reduces anxiety. Another profound effect of morning dhikr is how it shapes your mindset. When your first words are words of praise and gratitude, your mind becomes conditioned to look for the good, to appreciate blessings, and to trust in Allah's plan. It is very difficult for negativity to dominate a heart that begins its day with remembrance. Dhikr reorganizes the emotional atmosphere inside you. You become more patient with people, more forgiving, and more hopeful, because your heart has tasted contentment in the early hours. Dhikr in the morning also teaches consistency. It trains your soul to pause, reflect, and turn inward before turning outward. This habit becomes a source of emotional intelligence and spiritual maturity. You begin to understand your own reactions, calm your own heart, and remind yourself that peace is not found outside. It is found through Allah. The soul that remembers Allah regularly becomes disciplined, stable, and resilient. Moreover, morning dhikr brings barakah into your day. You may not always see it directly, but you feel it in how things seem to flow smoothly, how challenges feel lighter, and how blessings increase in subtle ways. Dhikr invites Allah's mercy, and wherever mercy enters, difficulties soften and ease becomes possible. The beauty of morning dhikr lies in its simplicity. It requires no effort, no long preparation, no complex ritual, just a sincere heart turning to its Creator. Yet the impact is profound. It shapes your emotional state, strengthens your spiritual core, and fills your day with a peace that only Allah can place in the heart. Waking early is one of the most transformative spiritual practices because it places you in direct opposition to the desires of the nafs. The nafs naturally loves comfort, sleep, and ease, and it resists anything that requires discipline or sacrifice. When your alarm rings before dawn and you choose to rise, you are making a powerful internal statement: my nafs is not in control. My purpose is. This seemingly small act becomes a daily training session for your soul, teaching it obedience, restraint, and sincerity. Every morning you wake early, you strengthen the part of you that prioritizes Allah over comfort. And that inner strength begins to spill into every other area of your life. Waking early also builds a sense of commitment. It proves to yourself that you can choose the harder path when it brings you closer to Allah. This discipline becomes the foundation for spiritual growth. The person who can push through sleep, can push through laziness during prayer, can restrain anger, can resist temptation, and can stay consistent in good deeds. Early rising becomes a ripple effect. If you can conquer the first battle of the day, the rest of the day becomes easier to navigate. You do not wake up reacting to life. You wake up leading your soul. Another powerful aspect of waking early is sincerity. There is no audience at 4 a.m., no praise, no validation, only you and Allah. This is worship that is hidden, pure, and deeply beloved to Him. When you get out of your warm bed in the darkness and stand before Allah, you are showing Him the truth of your intentions. You are giving Him a moment of your time when no one else sees your effort. This sincerity softens the heart and draws you closer to Him in a way that public acts of worship cannot. Waking early also reorders your priorities. It forces you to evaluate what truly matters. You begin to sleep earlier, plan better, and protect your time more carefully, because you value the spiritual clarity that comes with early rising. Your lifestyle naturally shifts toward balance, mindfulness, and intentional living. Over time, you will notice that your mind is less scattered, your heart less restless, and your life more organized. Not because of productivity techniques, but because you realigned your routine with the rhythms Allah designed. Another subtle but profound benefit is how waking early humbles the nafs. Every time you deny it one of its strongest desires, sleep, you weaken its grip. You teach it that it cannot control you, and that discipline becomes a shield against sins and unhealthy habits. Many spiritual issues begin with a lack of self-control, and many spiritual successes begin with mastering the mornings. When you are consistent in waking early, your nafs becomes more obedient, your heart more awake, and your worship more meaningful. In essence, waking early is a daily act of spiritual empowerment. It tells Allah, I choose you over comfort. And it tells your soul, you follow my purpose, not my desires. Each early morning becomes a quiet victory that sets the tone for your entire day. Morning Barakah has a profound effect on the flow of your entire day, and its impact becomes visible in ways that feel almost effortless. When Allah places blessing in your time, you begin to notice that tasks, which normally feel heavy, become lighter. Decisions that once took hours become clearer, and responsibilities that seemed overwhelming become manageable. This is because Barakah is not about how many hours you have. It is about how much benefit Allah places within those hours. You may accomplish more in a morning filled with Allah's blessing than in an entire day spent rushing without his remembrance. One of the most beautiful aspects of morning barakah is the sense of harmony it brings. When you start your day with worship, whether through prayer, Qur'an or dhikr, you step into your day with a calmer heart. That calm shapes everything that comes afterward. You respond to problems with patience. You handle challenges with steadiness. And you interact with people with more kindness. The inner peace that morning worship creates becomes reflected in your behavior throughout the day. You begin to realize that ease does not come from having fewer problems, but from having a heart strengthened by remembrance. Barakah also increases your focus. In a world full of distractions, it is easy to feel scattered and mentally overloaded. But when you begin your morning with Allah, your mind becomes more organized and your priorities clearer. You know what truly matters, and you stop wasting energy on things that do not bring benefit. This clarity saves you time, protects your emotional energy, and allows you to move through your tasks with more purpose. It is not unusual for someone who benefits from morning barakah to feel that their entire day runs more smoothly, as if invisible obstacles are removed. Another element of this blessing is emotional stability. Morning barakah anchors the heart in a way that helps you handle the unpredictable moments of life. You are less reactive, less anxious, and less easily thrown off balance. This is because starting your day with remembrance connects you to the One who controls all outcomes. You trust Him more, worry less, and naturally develop a stronger resilience. The barakah of the morning helps you carry Allah's peace throughout the day. You also begin to notice that your time stretches. What would normally take an hour might only take minutes. And what usually exhausts you becomes easier to complete. This is the unseen nature of barakah. Allah puts benefit, ease, and flow into your day in ways beyond logic. People may ask how you accomplish so much or remain calm despite challenges. But the answer is simple. You started your day with Allah, and He blessed the hours that followed. In truth, morning barakah is not something you see, it is something you feel. It shows up in your productivity, your peace, your focus, and the smoothness of your daily life. It is Allah's gift to those who honor the early hours. And once you experience it, you begin to understand that true success does not come from effort alone, but from time filled with His blessing. The morning becomes a spiritual doorway through which peace enters the heart and strength settles in the soul. It realigns your priorities, disciplines your nafs, and brings a gentle harmony to everything that follows. The more you experience this blessing, the more you realize that success does not come from rushing, planning, or striving alone. It comes from beginning your day with the One who created the day itself. Morning barakah turns ordinary moments into sources of light and transforms daily life into a journey guided by divine favor.